Now, Matt, I was going to start this podcast off with a joke about Plantation Simulator being your favorite game of the year.
Jeez, thank you for not doing that. Golly, man.
I figured you'd make me re-record the start, and I don't want to re-record. So.
That's terrible.
I cannot.
Thank you.
What's even more yeah. Can you believe, though, that I don't know how some of these games get made? So apparently Plantation Simulator is argued as like it's a historical game simulating a moment in history. Okay, sure. There's movies about slave plantations in America, a dark time in our country's history. But the game Plantation Simulator is basically like Sim Plantation, where your objective is to increase, cotton,
the yield,
yield. And one of the tools you can use is to whip your workers, Matt. So this game is on Steam to my knowledge. There's certain countries trying to get it banned. Germany's trying to get it banned right now, and they're like furious. And apparently there was even some internal debate at Steam as to like how this game got through the checklist thing.
Yeah.
It is sort of a weird area because like obviously we have this whole like everything's an art form, and it's obviously okay to make a film about plantations and the era of slavery because it's important to know, we need to know about human history and even the dark sides of it, and hopefully to educate ourselves and not repeat history. But a sim game in which one of the tools
gamifies it.
Yeah, that gamifies it, but also like if you are running the plantation, you're like, well, I got to get those yields up. What's one of my tools to increase my cotton yield?
That's awful.
Yeah, no, I can't believe the game was made, honestly. I'm just like, holy smokes, because it takes a lot of effort to make a game. So you're like,
it's not, you can't just snap your fingers and make it. Yeah.
They had a lot of time to think about.
They sat down and thought about this. They were probably laying in bed at night trying to think of mechanics and like how they would implement them. Yeah. Oh yeah, they thought about it.
Yeah, but at no point across the way where they're like, is this a good idea? Are we gonna?
That's so bad.
It's so.
I mean, I haven't seen it, but man,
I looked up some video. It's kind of like it's sort of retro art style, a little 2D, sort of like Farmville.
I mean, games have been getting in trouble for this a long. There was a game a long time ago that like they made. You know what? It doesn't even matter. It wasn't good. It was
you
bad.
Don't even want to say it.
I don't even. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. No, I'm always actually surprised by some of the games that come out on Steam. And I feel sort of like the old guy who's out of touch when people are like, oh yeah, you didn't know they had games about this? I'm like, what in the? So I'm excited that the game
it's
world.
A gray area. We'll see how Steam approaches it.
Yeah. It's, on one hand, I respect.
A bit of a gray area.
Yeah. On one hand, I respect Steam's stance around sort of like, art is art, and like you got to deal with the good and the bad. And if you don't like a subject matter, that's you, right? Like your opinion doesn't dictate everything. So I like that. On the other hand, I'm like, whew, this one's flying a little close to the sun.
Yeah, that one's a little spicier. Any good news this week?
Yeah. Well, there's of course some bad news, but some of the good news is there's a lot of games in the works right now. So we talked a little bit about Summer Game Fest last week, but there was more stuff coming out even after we recorded the podcast last week. The PC gaming show featured 60 games, of which 20 were brand new reveals. And the other 40-ish, were like, here's new features and new content on these really, really cool upcoming games. I don't know if you kept up with any of the new reveals or stuff that Nintendo was showing, but were there any other titles that might have caught your eye since we recorded the last podcast?
I can't remember exactly what we talked about title wise, but I mean, yeah, I was keeping my eye on it. Was anything specifically for you?
Well, I don't think we talked about the Ocarina of Time remaster last time, did we?
No, I don't think we did. No.
Yeah.
That was kind of neat. Yeah. I mean, that was my childhood game. So
yeah, same.
That's neat.
That was for sure my favorite game on the N64. I got the gold cartridge edition, which
Nice.
apparently, if you kept that one in the box, Matt, is worth like $1 million now. So yeah,
Yeah, and what kid is gonna be like, I'm gonna save this for later?
yeah. Or what kid has the wherewithal to like somehow get 2 copies of it and then
Yeah,
save one?
no one. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's you can't predict that stuff.
but now we have to have that information in our heads just so we can know that, like, oh boy, should have held on to those first edition Pokemon cards, you idiot. You know, like,
Yep.
One day.
Not how life works, though.
I know. What stuff should we save now, Matt? What do you think is going to be like?
Definitely, we got to start saving those cups that they've been selling. I can't remember what they're called, but everyone was going crazy for them, and those are gonna be really valuable.
Yeah. Anytime that it says collector's edition or you're in the moment and everybody's trying to get them, you're like, these aren't going to be big. It's like Beanie Babies,
no,
right?
absolutely not. Yeah.
Everybody thought Beanie Babies were going to be like some big thing, and now
Funko Pops.
Yeah. Nobody cares. It'll be something that nobody thinks, and then you'll be like, "Ah, dang it! I should have saved whatever." I don't even know what's being sold these days. I'm too out of it. So, Ocarina of Time remaster looks. It's hard to say it looks good. The concept is exciting because they didn't really show anything other than
it was just Link just lying down.
Yeah, you're like, okay. I mean, he looks real, but is that a in-game graphics representation or is that a cinematic? But anyway, I think Ocarina of Time is one of the goats of Zelda games. I mean, it's hard to compare with like some of the new stuff because they're just such expansive worlds.
It's their flagship titles.
Yeah. But I'm excited about that. The PC gaming show, let's see. Some of the games I'm excited for weren't necessarily new reveals on their show, but they're definitely games I'm looking forward to. I like weird takes on racing games, and there's
the Clutch title.
Yeah. The Clutch title, is that?
It's called Clutch.
Okay, I didn't see it. Which one was that? I missed that one.
Oh, sorry. Well, what was your game?
I was going to say Exo Rally. So
Exo Rally. Okay.
Exo Rally is a racing game, but it takes place on other planets. And so you have to, it's like cross-country racing, but you have to build your vehicle. So it's got wheels and stuff, but it's like the terrain is like extraterrestrial planet, like weird land formations. And so you're like low grav jumping and doing all this stuff. And I'm like, that's a cool concept. It's like Mars Rover, the racing game, basically.
Yeah, more indie.
Yeah. So I thought that was a cool idea. I don't know.
So Clutch is made by former, I think, Forza developers and just other devs, but you have a car. It's definitely very AAA looking, but your car has a grapple hook, and you can grapple hook around corners.
Oh,
it looks ridiculous and over the top, but yeah, it's like it could kind of be a fun little idea if it's executed well and doesn't just become a gimmick. Yeah, I could see that being fun.
Yeah, I like them playing around with the ideas of like, okay, so you got racing sim, which is like drafting and hitting the apex of turns and braking at just the right moment and accelerating out of turns, and it's like there's plenty of nuance there, infinite amount. But to the average viewer, you might not notice that nuance, right? Especially when you're just like seeing a trailer for a game. You're like, I don't know, it's just cars racing. Yeah. When you evolve that with like fun gaming mechanics, like you're talking about here with shooting a grappling hook, or with the Exo Rally thing where you're like on a low G planet and you have to like use thrusters to like adjust the angle of your thing in air because you're catching so much air because of low G. You have to like now course correct midair. I'm like, that's fun, right? Like they're adding new ideas into the game concept, and I'm a fan of it as long as they kind of keep the mechanics to a level where it's still simple enough where you can vibe out and you're not like spreadsheeting your race or something too much. So that looked cool. I think there was even more gameplay and trailer stuff for War Dogs, which continues to look amazing.
It does look really solid.
Total War Warhammer 40K looks. I haven't played a Total War game in ages, but this one, it looks cool, dude. It looks sick.
Seeing the orcs fly with their jetpacks through the air and just like launching themselves across the map was incredible.
Yeah. Also the like just the ships in orbit too, where you're like they're fully like doing orbital orbital drop sims and all that stuff where all your armies are coming down from space. I'm like, come on, that's really cool. It's because they're doing it on like a, hey, we need to go fight over this planet simulation. Send your troops over. And I'm like, that's fun. That's a fun idea, you know?
Yeah, I'm curious how they're going to balance it, because the one thing is like all the previous Total Wars are all linear, where you've got like lines of troops, and that works because most of them are melee and or maybe, you know, some archers. But this is, you know, everyone could like launch a missile, or, you know, it's much more grand in scale. And so you have cover now to deal with, and you have destruction you have to deal with. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how they balance it with all of that going on at the same time. I think they can do it, but yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm excited too. And I generally don't go for Total War because of just how deep they can be, and sometimes I'm like, okay, that's a lot to learn. I think I'll maybe pass this time.
Yeah, they can be overwhelming.
There's a game called Exodus, which kind of looks like a sort of like an, I don't want to say indie because the production quality looks really good, but it looks like an indie studio hitting above their quality mark, kind of like we're used to with some of these.
It looks
Unreal.
like a AA moving into triple.
Yeah, but it kind of looks like a Mass Effect style game.
Absolutely.
It looks good. And I'm like, wow.
Yep.
If an indie studio can now produce a Mass Effect quality or near quality game, we're cooking now, right? Like, that's cool. So I don't really know much about it other than it looks very impressive for what they're throwing at you, and then you get
it's the one with Matthew McConaughey. For those that are like, what the hell is it's very Mass Effect, but Matthew McConaughey was doing some trailers years ago, I feel, and we're like, where did that game go? And it's, well, now that it's Exodus, it's coming out.
Yeah. There's another one called Into the Wind, which kind of looks like a cozy airplane delivery game where it seems like it takes place in sort of a Miyazaki steampunk universe where...
Oh, yeah, very much.
Yeah. So you're like a dude who like goes around and is like, hey, sir, here's your package of, you know, flowers or whatever you ordered.
It's a package delivery. It's exactly what it is.
But it seems like there might also be some light aerial combat in it. Which is interesting. So it's like cozy, but maybe cozy combat also. I'm not entirely sure. But so it's flying. You get to fly an airplane around, or a craft, some sort of weird steampunky airship. And then you deliver stuff and talk to characters. And it just looks adorable. And I like flying games, and I like accessible flying games. So that one definitely caught my eye because just the art style looks fun. And
yeah, it looks really solid.
Yeah. So those are kind of my top picks from the rest of what we saw after all the big announcements at Summer Game Fest. Those ones all look cool. I think we're going to be getting some solid games end of this year and early next year.
I mean, September, October is unbelievably stacked right now. I don't even... I play every day, and there's no way I'm going to be able to get to all of these big titles. I'm going to have to like space it out, which is good because November has nothing other than one game, one colossal game that is just rising above the rest. It's just like, you will not pass, and none are apparently. So, Grand Theft Auto. Yeah,
and guys, we should give Matt our sympathy because he's got a lot of gaming to do, and he's got to schedule it out, and it's a hard job, you know.
It's tough over here. All right, I sense the sarcasm.
If he looks tired in the coming months, you know, just remember he's got a lot on his plate.
Is me. Thank you for understanding my plight for playing video games.
You're welcome, dude. Not people out there don't understand, you know, the grueling, you know, the hours you work. I won't deny that you work some crazy hours to get your streaming in. Let's see. Yeah, let's talk about the industry a little bit. Man.
Unfortunate news. Did you hear about Microsoft layoffs?
Yes.
Or the Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's been a lot of layoffs, but Microsoft's laying off people. There's internal rumors that they're like really not sure about Project Helix, which is their upcoming console that's supposed to be the PC Xbox hybrid thing. Which I'm like, yes, this is what we need. This is what the Steam machine is trying to do also. Like, this seems to be where the industry's heading. It's the obvious choice. Yeah. They're like, we don't even know if we're going to be able to price this anywhere around what people can afford. They're looking at financing options for it. We're like, don't you hate the idea of moving into an era in which people are financing console purchases, you know?
It doesn't feel good.
No, I mean, like back in the day when you're like, okay, a $300 console, like it's not an every year purchase, but once in a while you save up, you buy it, it lasts you for a good 5+ years or whatever. That seemed like a reasonable investment for most people. Now, if Project Helix launches, and if they're concerned about the price, that means it's probably around $1,000.
Probably
that'd be my guess. Now you're like, okay, well, most people, a lot of the core gaming audience doesn't have that kind of money sitting around that they can comfortably just throw at a new investment. So now it's like, okay, financing $1,000 console where people are like literally have a payment plan to get the machine. That's, I don't know. It just feels dark to me. It's like, oh, these are the dark days. And I don't even blame Microsoft too much because of its AI stuff.
The good news is, though, is that even though everything is now more expensive, we can make AI-generated cat videos of them doing the Macarena. And that, I think, is a sacrifice we all should make.
Oh my gosh, dude. It's, yeah, I don't know how much longer we're in for these massive RAM prices, but it doesn't seem like the end is near. It seems like things just keep ramping up. I saw a thing the other day that Nvidia's GDP was like higher than like half of the countries in Europe or something like that. And you're just like, what is happening right now? Like there's entire nations that are producing less money than...
Is this the beginning of cyberpunk?
I think so, dude. Like megacorps are true. It's like so you got Nvidia that's like got insane financial success, and then SpaceX, which just became the biggest IPO ever. And you're like, we're in the era of mega corporations now. We're just trillions of dollars are flowing in and out of single companies, and you're like, okay, I guess this is where we are. The tech revolution is truly upon us, and yeah. I'm moving to Nvidia, country Nvidia. They're just going to buy a country.
I'm going to Nvidia land.
Yeah. Oh, my alarm is going up telling me to wake up, Matt.
Well, good morning.
Yeah, thank you. We're recording the podcast a little early today. Which is good because it has been a heat wave, dude, and my AC just went out. So I'm like, perfect.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. You never realize when it is or isn't working until there's a heat wave. And you're like, oh, I guess it's not working. Cool.
Oh, that sucks. Cool. I'm sorry.
Yeah, all good, though. All good. So early morning recording, perfect. Let the house cool off. So speaking of other great news about big corporations, Ubisoft closed 2 more of its studios, laid off 380 employees, plus another 90 in San Francisco. I guess they didn't shut the San Francisco studio, but they fired 90 people from it. Internal rumors that the company is doing massive reorg, killing small projects and just doing basically fewer bets around bigger project ideas is like the thing. Yeah. So they're really like, it's crazy, but Ubisoft went from this mega corporation and they are now rapidly downsizing to what would basically be a much, much smaller studio. Which, I mean, I can't see a world in which Ubisoft fully fails. Like, I think that the IP, the kind of the brand recognition is too strong. Somebody would eventually buy it and turn it into something. But it's wild to see a company that's been so well known for having such mega AAA hits consistently for decades, essentially, have to downsize and have to give up on its plans and all that stuff. And we've been talking about this for a long time, but this is one of the clearest examples of what's happening in AAA right now is that the old formulas are no longer working, and that indie is
I think it's because they
yeah.
became formulas.
Yeah, for sure. No, they became fat cats that became comfortable with repeating the same generic stuff year in and year out, and it became formulaic, and they built their whole industry around that. And then when indie got more tools and more power, and we're like, hey, we can like make other wild, fun games that nobody's ever thought before because we still have creative energy and we're not doing formulaic stuff. That just started to dominate, and these big studios, one, didn't know how to pivot, and two, had way too many employees for that type of workflow to a degree. Because it's harder to do like weird experimental creative stuff when you've got like a team of like 500 people. Like, how do you design a project workflow of 500 people where you're like, I don't know, guys, let's try some fun stuff. You're like, cool, that costs you like $10 million a month, like,
right.
That's
you want the sure bet.
Yeah. So it sucks.
What's tough is because like clearly there's a restructuring going on right now in the game industry. As you said, all these bigger companies, Microsoft, like Ninja Theory, the guys who made Senua, the Hellblade series, they just showed off a trailer a week ago, and we've now learned that apparently they're shutting down that dev. It's like,
oh really? I missed that. That's crazy.
It happened yesterday. It's like, what is even going on? Like,
so
clearly something's going, like a shakeup is happening, right? These bigger companies are maybe like the practice as usual is not working. We need to change. And it feels like for some of them, like Ubisoft and Microsoft, that's happening right now. But at the same time, it's in juxtaposition with all of these crazy good games that have been coming out like month after month. And it's just like, I don't even know. It's like, so is it dying? Or are we doing well? Like, because there's these great games and they seem to be doing well. I'd like to say, at least I hope that they are. So it's really hard to kind of parse and find a message in all of this, because it seems like in one hand, things are really bad. But on the other hand, like games are killing it. So it's tough.
Well, to give you an example of what people are capable of now, two RTSs that I'm looking forward to the most right now are being developed by like minuscule teams. One of those, which I think just got a demo that launched, which I'm going to try and play today if I get some time. It's called Dustfront, and it's just a beautiful looking dystopian apocalyptic RTS war game. And I'm just like, it looks so cool. And I think that's being done by either one dev or a very small dev team. And it's like, all right, this one dude or this really small team is working on a game that I think I'm more excited to play than Warhammer 40K, right? Which is clearly a much bigger game. Then there's
everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Sure. I kind of like some of these more nuanced games. Like I said, Warhammer games are so deep and expansive that sometimes that turns me off to even getting into them.
Something a little bit more simple. Yeah.
The other one would be Falling Frontier, which, disclosure, I'm friends with the dev on that one. But
unbelievable.
I was looking forward to that game long before we ever chatted, and it just basically looks
sick.
Yeah, it's like a spiritual successor to Homeworld, but with like Expanse vibes. And I'm just like, that's all I've ever like. I didn't know I wanted that until the Expanse came out, but as soon as the Expanse came out, everybody was like, what if we had an RTS game that was like The Expanse, but like Homeworld also? So this guy's making it, and it looks amazing. And he's got a super small team too. I think the first 4 or 5 years of development was just him, and now he's got some help. But the point I'm trying to make is like these games that are competing with my dollar directly with, say, Warhammer 40K, which is a much bigger studio making those games. I'm going, well, if I could only play one, I might actually just try Dustfront instead of Warhammer,
Yeah, I wonder if with all this is that these companies will start to focus, like you said a little bit ago, that they need to just focus on like a concept and not get so big in with the bloat, right? Like all these games have bloated in production. You're like, how are these so expensive? Like we just learned that apparently the upcoming Gears of War is like $400 million. I'm like, it's a Gears game. Like, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot involved to make it, but $400 million is a lot of money. Like, holy cow. So Yeah, I'm curious to see how the bigger industry giants start to adapt, because I would like them to just narrow the focus a bit more and just make high quality games that don't necessarily do everything, but do what they do really well.
Yeah. Well, so there's another interesting. I was reading an article that was sort of analyzing the games from Summer Games Fest, and they're talking about a major shift in gaming trends and what publishers are making now, basically around market anticipation. And so for the last decade or more, it's been live service, right? All the
Yeah.
big games are like, we got to make our live service games. We need seasons. We need all this crap. And it's sort of, we've gotten some good games out of it, no doubt. But by and large, it's been a disaster for most studios where they're like live service and then the game's dead months later. And they're like, boy,
they're competing with all the other live services now, and that pie it's only so big. There's only so many people that want to dedicate their time to like one or two games, and then they're like, I'm gonna just keep playing Apex, I'm gonna keep playing Counter-Strike or what have you. And then like these companies are like, what happened? It's like, well, if you just focused on making like a single player game, or if you're just a really well-refined multiplayer, they would have bought it. But because they expect it to be a live service and there's no one playing anymore, no one's gonna buy it anymore because it's dead.
Yeah, precisely. And so what they're noticing now at Summer Game Fest is that single player is back. These campaigns, these fun narrative games, these cooler concepts where you can vibe out, you can play a single player game, finish it, and then move on to the next thing. That game formula is coming back in a major way, which I am a huge fan of. It feels very old school because that used to be what most games were to a degree before multiplayer was all the rage for everything, and everything needed some sort of multiplayer component. You're getting all these really well thought out, really fun single player experiences. And so that's what we're seeing a ton of coming back now, which is very funny because, I mean, we all remember the big quotes from like EA when they canceled their highly anticipated Star Wars
no one wants
games.
Single players dead.
Yeah, they're like, single player doesn't do well anymore. Single player doesn't sell. And they're like, wait, you just canceled the Naughty Dog writer Star Wars game that everybody was super pumped about. Like, that seems insane. They're like, nobody wants single player. This game will definitely fail.
Every company wanted to be the next Fortnite. They wanted to have a system in place where they could put minimal effort in each month or what have you and get insane returns.
Yeah.
And I get why they want it.
Sure.
I get because that's the dream, right? Everyone wants that. But as we said, it's saturated. And unless you come up with something that is truly going to break the mold and deliver something that no one's ever experienced, and it is crazy. Well, you can't predict that. There's no way to predict that.
Yep. Well, EA seems like they've got a couple of their seasonal games. It seems like they're successfully turning Battlefield into a live service game. It was sort of...
And it seems to be working.
I know. Isn't that weird? I'm actually so season 3, in my opinion, has been a very, very good release. I think the new map is super cool, even though I still think the game needs more bigger maps, but Golmud really showed how amazing the game is on bigger maps. And then the new Cairo Bazaar map is it's fantastic, even though it's not a massive map. I'm just like, this is bringing back vibes, and it plays like I remember Battlefield playing, and it's just fun and beautiful. And now season 4 looks like it's going to be legit, dude. Naval warfare, they're bringing carriers back, boat combat, wave physics, and all that fun stuff is coming back. I'm like, dang, BF6 is cooking right now. And there's also been like rumor-ish about like the next Battlefield game and all that stuff in the works. And you're like, dang, EA's like just trying to fully live service the crap out of Battlefield right now. And like you said, it seems to be working pretty well.
Obviously they went from like 600,000 at launch to now they're around like 40,000 for their average, which is, that's a huge drop. But they stabilized, and like I'm playing it on the regular. I mean, I've been playing Battlefield games for over a decade now, where they've never had a live service game that had this kind of player count for this long. So it must be doing at least something right. So it's not a perfect game, but the last couple of updates have really kind of painted a picture that they seem like they're on the right track. Cosmetic items have improved, like the maps have improved. The fact they've remastered maps, and I was worried that those maps were going to just kind of be like ham-fisted and just like we're just doing it
lazy.
to do it. It's like lazy. It's like no, they put the effort in. They were like, these maps had these problems. Let's try to address it and add a little bit of flavor. I think Goldmud and Bazaar are both really solid.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, better than their predecessors.
So. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think we were talking a little bit, maybe last podcast, about Bazaar because we hadn't played it yet. I don't think.
No, we hadn't.
Yeah. So, talking about some of the weak spots on Grand Bazaar, where it's like it was great for BF3, but BF3 was it just blew up the Battlefield formula that we were not less focused on the nuances of where it wasn't that good. And Bazaar had many of pain points, where you're just like smashing two armies down a single corridor. And you're like, what do you mean 64 players don't play well on a single alleyway? And it
still has that. And if you want that meat grinder, you can go for it. But like you can spend literally your entire time around the fringe, and that fringe is wide enough with the streets that you can have some really fun firefights that don't feel like you're just slamming into a wall of bullets, right? Mm-hmm. You do have freedom to move around, and it actually works really well, surprisingly.
Yeah. So they've been knocking it out of the park, and then next season they got a remake and a brand new map, and they both just look really cool. And my confidence in DICE has really come back in a major way. And the quality of life updates that they are continuing to work on also sound really promising, where you're just like, dang, now if they can just do that thing, which DICE has never done before, and
keep the momentum going and just keep going.
Keep the momentum going, but also when they launch their next title, because rumors are they're already deep in the process of working on the next concept, keep the features that innovated for BF6.
Good
Dear
Lord.
God, man, the amount of Battlefield games that come out where you're like, cool, good job, guys, fixing up this game and making it really good. And then the next game comes out and it's got all the same problems that the previous game had at launch. And you're like, did you learn nothing, you fools? So
to
get
go
that
from
one
Battlefield
sorted,
4
DICE.
with grenade spam, and they're like, they finally fixed it like a year later, and then to go into Battlefield 1 and have it be just as bad or worse with grenade spam. Like, why did you not communicate at all? Like, what are we doing? And I swear to God, if there's not a server browser in the next Battlefield, like, what are we even doing?
And it seems like they keep re-exploring the player visibility problem too in almost every game to some degree. This game's been a lot better about it in general, but like BF5 struggled massively with it, and then 2042 also was like had issues with it. BF1 had issues. It's like, just figure it out, guys. It's an issue. Solve
the only
it
issue I have maybe with
out.
the visibility update is it's nice to be able to like where someone is now, but it's almost to the point where it's like everyone has a little bit of a light on them at all times, which can be a little bit like it can take you out of the experience a little bit. But other than that, it's nice to not be surprised all the time by a dude who was camping in a little corner. It's like, no, I easily recognize that that's a guy.
It's I'm learning about that right now in game dev, is how nuanced the lighting and the shaders and all that stuff can be, where you're like, 10% more of this and the game feels completely fake, and like it's heavy-handedly separating these objects from the background so that I see them. Like, just nudging that down a few percentage points, everything feels amazing. And you're like, okay, the difference between terrible and good is like some artists just like adding a little dollop of paint on something. You're like, it's perfect now. So I give DICE a little leeway there, but also they have an incredible art team. Let those guys cook. Let them figure out what to do.
But in general, like, they just got to keep that momentum going, keep delivering. If they can keep this cadence up and high quality content, I think, especially when season 5 rolls around, if we get 3 solid maps alongside the 2 from season 4, like Battlefield 6 could be looking pretty solid.
And they're reworking some of their crummy maps too. So
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yep. The ones that I will not touch. Yes.
Exactly. So if that playlist gets to a point, the playlist which you have very little control over, and that is a gripe for BF6 is you're just like, I guess I'll just play whatever map they throw at you. And then if you don't like half of their maps, that's a problem. If they keep upgrading those maps and that rotation becomes better, then it's good for everybody. Did you play the Empulse demo?
I did.
Yeah.
For a fair amount, 6 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Thoughts?
So I'm assuming you know what Empulse is.
Yes. Yeah? So for people listening, Empulse is the Splitgate developers basically making a Titanfall clone is the fastest way to say that concept.
Yep. They seem to like to take genres or games that died or aren't doing very well, and they're like, we'll do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It's fun. It is genuinely a good time. I swear I streamed it and everyone was comparing it to every game imaginable. And I'm like, okay. At that point, it's its own thing, even though it's clearly not. It's clearly going for a Titanfall vibe. It is more of a arena FPS, like it's smaller in scale, so it's not as big. You do not call in a Titan. Titans are like power weapons. I can't remember what they're called in that game. I don't think they're called Titans, but they're essentially just power weapons where they will build up a gauge, a timer. You then can jump into one and then you can use it. They're also very easy to kill. You can melt them pretty fast with just like normal fire. If you get close, you can melee them and they'll explode pretty quick.
Wow.
So the focus really isn't on the Titans. I'm not saying that they're just ham-fisted in there because they're trying to they're like, clear this is Titanfall, right? We have to have Titans. But the focus of the game, in my eyes, was around the piloting, the pilots that you would call from.
I think that's
Titanfall.
smart because as cool as Titans were in Titanfall, I think the skill and the nuance and most of the fun gameplay was in the pilot stuff when you were on foot. And the Titans just looked really cool and added that vibe to the combat. But whenever you were fighting in a Titan, the gameplay didn't feel it was slow and sluggish.
It was a different experience. Yeah. It was basically very mobile tanks. And if you're into that, then it's awesome. But if you're like, this is not what I signed up for when I'm playing a first person shooter, I want the pilot gameplay, well, then you're out of luck, right? Movement is really fast. So the reason why I say everyone was comparing it to other games is it's kind of like Splatoon. You're like, what? Splatoon? You get a grenade.
I know what Splatoon is, but I never actually played it.
Right. So Splatoon is about putting paint everywhere. Right?
Yeah.
And in this game, you have a grenade that you can throw down, and it recharges pretty fast. That one of them, the first one you spawn in, is a speed boost. And if you run through it, anyone in your team runs through it, or the enemy runs through it, you fly.
Yeah.
Like you are zooming. And so when everyone is throwing these paints down, you see paint everywhere. And people are trying to use that to their advantage to make themselves a harder target, get away, use that momentum, just slingshot around the map and all that stuff, right? And so it's incredibly fast-paced in that regard, and it plays just like you would expect, not exactly like you would expect from Titanfall, but you have a lot of air control. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of skill expression with this. The weapons are punchy and fun to use.
Do you get a grappling when you're flying around and stuff?
There is a grapple hook. Everyone has a grapple hook. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love games with some sort of grapple hook. Like, I don't know if you remember, what was Cliff Bleszinski's kind of one of his last games?
Lawbreakers.
Lawbreakers. They had that one class that had like these laser whips. And I can't remember if it was a guy or girl, but I think it was a chick, and she could like whip kind of Spider-Man her way around the environment, but you really had to be dialed in to like, you couldn't just hit the grapple button. You had to like aim exactly where you wanted to go. But like the more skill you had, the faster you could go and build up momentum. And it kind of had that Tribes vibe, which I'm definitely aging myself with here. Nobody has any references to that game, but that game was about hitting the landscape right and using the landscape to build up this crazy amount of momentum, and the people who got it better could move faster. And I love games like that where they're like, here's a simple mechanic, everybody understands it right away. now if you combine it with expert map knowledge, you can move 3 times faster than that guy over there. And when you see somebody moving that fast, you're like, I want to be like that guy. And then you play more and you figure it out and you're like, oh, this is sick. I'm like chaining together my movement stuff and I'm getting around faster. Is it like that? Can you build up that stuff as much?
So the grapple didn't feel as satisfying as I'd say like Apex or Titanfall for me. I didn't really, I was having a harder time making it work like I would expect from that series. Granted, I was never really good at grappling in that. It's effective, right? But the way that people in my eyes were moving around was they were just using the momentum of their paint grenade and then launching themselves to run on walls and then sliding around corners and all that. Everyone has a hammer as a melee weapon. And when you have that speed boost, it's like you're in an anime. You'll see a guy and you're trying to shoot at him and he is literally so fast zipping around in that paint and then slams you in the face with the hammer. It can be quite tough. But also, you can use the grapple hook to grapple someone, and then when you grapple to them, you punch them in the face. So there's a lot of great skill expression. There's a lot of great movement dynamics to express, that skill, which is fun.
Do you think, and this is, I haven't played it yet, so this is just sort of based on what other games sometimes do. Movement and high movement games, kind of like Overwatch, have other characters that are for people who are not good at movement abilities and are maybe more skill timing abilities and tanky abilities and stuff like that, where they can kind of play an important role, but they don't have to be movement gods to do well in the game. Do you think there's room in this game for that, or are they going pure movement?
It depends on how large of a player base they have. I think it's the same risk that, Splitgate had that same problem, right? When everyone gets cracked out at Splitgate and making portals and getting, and all that, how does the little guy compete when some people are just constantly shooting in the back because you don't understand the map and you don't know all the great spots for, the portals, right? And this is, I think, why Titanfall struggled, is that it has such a huge skill ceiling with its, your skill expression, your movement, that if you go against one of these players, you are not winning. Like, you're just not.
Yeah, it's brutal. And we're saying that as people who are pretty good at FPS games. Mostly we come in and are doing above average to most games. But Titanfall, there's definitely players that I was like, I'm winning maybe 1 in 4 fights against this guy. Like, they're just absolutely wrecking me.
Yeah, so I don't know. I did notice when I went against a team that was clearly well coordinated that we were just getting stomped. Like, it's like, I don't even know what to do, right? But so I think it's going to depend on how large the player base is, and if they have like at least a somewhat decent, maybe skill-based matchmaking to try to keep things at least somewhat around your skill. I know some people absolutely hate skill-based matchmaking, but
games like this could use it.
Yeah, if you throw people that are relatively new or just bad against the cream of the crop, quite regularly, it might deter them from wanting to continue to play.
For sure. Counter-Strike would suck if you didn't have some sort of matchmaking system in there too, because if you go up against a pro in Counter-Strike, you're gonna hate the game basically.
You'll stop.
Yeah. So I think, for high skill games like that, SBMM can be really good.
But I have no idea how large the player base will be. It's
nor
apparently
do they,
$15, right? Apparently it's going to be $15, and that's it. So there's going to be no microtransactions. There's going to be no store.
Interesting.
You'll be leveling. You'll level up, and you'll get like the unlocks, and you'll be able to unlock, cosmetics and stuff like that. But that'll be the game. So
I'm impressed
I don't know
that studio has been able to bounce back from basically bombing on Splitgate 2, and they're like, "Here's our other game."
They did it.
Well, they must have been working on 2 games simultaneously, and the games share a lot of movementy mechanics, so they probably shared a huge amount of the base code, where it's not like they're reinventing the wheel every time.
That's true.
So and that's my theory about what Embark is doing with Arc Raiders and their other games too. Is like they're sharing a lot of that code between the games,
as you should.
Yeah, as they should. So maybe that's why this game's sort of coming out quickly, and it would be kind of neat if this game is a big success and big enough to keep that studio afloat and doing well for a while, so that their legacy isn't just the original Splitgate that was short-lived as it was, you know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
As we were just talking about, it's tough to get multiplayer games though. Any traction.
So hard, dude. It's such a risk. And so most studios don't take the risk. So to a degree, your competition's a little less, but it's only less because it's such a difficult market to break into. And then a lot of studios build or design their concept around, we need huge success to make this profitable. And you're like, that's a big danger. So if these devs have set it up where they only need moderate success to make their money back, then hopefully they'll be in a much better situation.
Yeah. I hope more companies have and I'm sure they do, and I think it's mainly gamers who are putting these parameters in these qualifications for success. So it came out that Arc Raiders player count has gone down pretty significantly, as you would expect for any The fact that Arc Raiders did as well as it did for as long as it did is absolutely bananas. It's still doing quite well. But one of the devs for War Dogs came out and said, hey, like if we even have any remotely that kind of success, like we're killing it. But on top of that, he pushed back on the notion of the fact that a game should be maintaining its player base for months and months and months to years on end. It's like, no, people are going to move on to other games. Like, it's okay to do that. That's normal.
Yeah.
Like when the big update comes back, they'll come back and maybe try it out. But it's completely normal to go and play other things and to expect games to maintain that when very few do is silly. So I like that mentality.
Fair. Yeah, totally. And we look at games like they're the freaking stock market sometimes with player counts, like, they're going up and down. It's like, that shouldn't matter to any gamer. As long as you can find a match and play in a reasonable amount of time, your experience should be no different. Ultimate. Although the player focus groups are probably going to trend towards more experienced players than when the game is high population and you have a lot of newbies running around. So you might get a slightly different vibe in game. But other than that, it should not affect your experience whatsoever. And most of these games, if they're well designed, can sustain on a very small amount of players where you can queue up and not feel like your experience is hampered. So
I've been playing. I play Hell Let Loose, other smaller, realistic games. They get like 10,000 concurrent, which by a lot of these people's standards would be like complete failure. But no problem finding games, tons of servers. It's totally doable.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
and it's fun. And so there's a demo for it right now. Try it out. You don't even have to spend the $15. They have like 5 maps. And you can unlock like a ton of weapons during the demo. Like there's actually a substantial amount to like unlock. So it's like, it was enjoyable. Didn't knock my socks off. Played a lot like Titanfall, but we don't really have any Titanfall anymore. So it was kind of cool to play this. Yeah.
We're going to get a Titanfall one day, right?
I hope so.
It's becoming the freaking Half-Life of like Respawn, where they're just like, and ironically was made on the Half-Life
Give me a Battlefield
engine.
Titanfall like smash up or 2143, whatever you want to call it. I want to like play as a Titan, smash through a building,
That would be cool.
I don't know how you balance that, right? Like how do you make destruction work where ground units are not going to get just completely annihilated with no cover, but
yeah. 2142 was such a wild game for DICE to make. It was their least successful game, I think, ever, which is unfortunate. But part of that was due to them not releasing on console. There was this big transition where there were companies that were like doing PC exclusives were like, is it worth doing console ports yet? And DICE, I think, decided not to with that one. And it was a huge, it just did not hit any numbers for them. And so getting that remake, I think, is going to be tough for them. And also, the player base has responded so well to modern military. It's just the easy win, for DICE.
It really is.
That even when they go deep historical or far future, the player base a good chunk of the player base doesn't show up for it, basically.
Yeah.
And so it's just like a giant risk where I have a hard time.
I want them to take that risk though, because I think it'd be cool.
I do
selfish.
too. I love it. I mean, it's like I love sci-fi shooters. Halo, such a great sci-fi shooter. All that stuff, which is coming
Destiny.
out soon. Yeah, Destiny. Less a fan of Destiny because of the spongy RPG mechanics, but
fair.
Visually, I was fully on board with the concept and the story. It was more of the gameplay ideas. But yeah, I'm all for it. I wish the audience was more flexible with what kind of shooters they were willing to play, but it's like, nah, you gotta get you. If you don't get your M4 assault rifle in there or whatever, then it's not scratching.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. So you played Holdfast Nations at War. Is that any good?
Yeah, that's an older title.
Okay.
There was a not Civil War. There was a Revolutionary War edition, and I played that. The old British versus United States. The rebels not wanting to pay their taxes, and
hey man, that 3% tax rate or whatever it was
the big thing was taxation without representation. Kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how much like that line was repeated in like your elementary school history class? Yeah, I didn't even understand what it meant back then. They're like taxation without representation. Like, I don't know what that means exactly, but they seemed upset about it.
Very upset about it. Yeah. Incredibly so. It's a goofy game, but it has a surprising amount of depth. Because like you can go around and just, dude, it takes, so you get, it's muskets. And it takes 10 seconds or more, 15 seconds to reload. And you're going to just be standing there looking like a dum-dum while you wait for this thing to reload. And so it's not like a high action thing. There's a surprising amount of teamwork where like you can have like people form lines and you can have like you have like leader, can't remember what the role was called. And you form a line, and if you have people form up on the line, you get bonuses for it. People will reload faster. Maybe they won't get hit. They won't die from a one shot like they normally would from further away if the bullet was far away. You can have musicians playing music in the back.
Yeah.
And that will give you a buff. You can have flag holders. If they're also in the line, that will give everyone a buff as well. And so if you work all in tandem within this system of just 150 people, like you can have some depth to it. Like you can actually overcome some of these odds. Does it turn out that way most of the time? Maybe not.
Everybody running around like in chaos. You know what's so funny about that is that they found out at a certain point that like maybe lining up in these big groups of easy to hit people is not the right way to have firearm based warfare. It's amazing how long it took for them to figure that out. But these games have to add in bonuses to be like, see, it's good to work in formation, because the reality of it is like, it's a terrible idea to stand in a large clump of people in an open field and just point your gun at somebody and like hope they don't shoot you before you shoot them.
God, I would be not. I'm not built for that. I'll
bro,
tell you that.
Who is? It was a literal meat churner where they're just like, here's 50,000 of our guys and there's 50,000 of your guys. Let's just have them walk towards each other and eventually somebody will walk away. And you're like, what a nightmare. What an absolute nightmare, dude.
So it was goofy fun. I had fun for what I experienced, but it is definitely a game for a certain type of player. There was a lot of interesting comms.
Yeah, you need some role playing. Company form at my right. Present arms.
Some did that. Yeah.
I want
some people saying bonsai. Just like role playing. Just it was bananas.
Nice. I want if I made a musket shooter, I would make the reload process a full mini game where you're like, okay, open your little pack of gunpowder. Okay, pour it in. Better hold the gun steady or it's gonna spill out of the thing. and then you gotta get your ramrod out.
In. Yeah.
Exactly. So like your speed at that mini game would then influence how quickly you could take another shot and beat your opponent. So you're like, everybody's doing their little mini game to like fight each other. Then you're like, screw it, I'm just gonna run in for the bayonet.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. I'd be down for that. I don't think that would work at all.
I'd try it. I don't know if I'd play it for very long.
Yeah, you're like, great, we're doing who's faster at the mini game.
Another mini game. All right, here we go.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be really funny. You could just do it as like a timing mini game in the middle of You know how like they have the reload timing in like shooters where it's like you have to hit the little reload charge at the right time and then you'll shoot faster.
Just do that a few extra times, right?
Yeah, just have like 4 of those during a musket reload, and then if you get, it's like Dance Dance Revolution.
Like the Dance Dance Revolution of reloads. There you go. Yeah, R W S B. All right, I'm back in.
Yeah,
let's go.
I think we just invented a great new game, Matt. We gotta get this to the market before somebody steals our musket game idea.
We do. It's a great idea.
So another interesting story that I wanted to bring up is the Nintendo stock dropped quite a bit, and part of that is that there weren't a lot of big, strong game showcases from them at this big game showcase event. People were sort of expecting the next big Mario game or maybe a new, really exciting. They've announced a couple of remasters lately, but nothing too big and new and exciting. And they're sort of a tentpole franchise type studio where it's like, you got to have the big Metroid, Mario, or Zelda or whatever coming out and driving all of your sales and your console stuff. And they seem to be, their timing on things seems to be a bit off this time around.
They have a Thumb War game coming out.
That top of my list, dude. It's
I saw that. I was like, what even is this?
Yeah. And it's not to say that I'm not excited for their remasters. I think Ocarina of Time is going to be cool. Star Fox might not play it. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. I like the idea of it, but I'm also not overly excited about it. I would have much preferred a completely new Star Fox game. But yeah, Nintendo, it's uncharacteristic of them to go this long without a major, big, exciting game. And I think it's affecting Switch 2 sales. The price of the Switch 2, of course, is affecting Switch 2 sales. And Nintendo's, for the first time in a long time, not looking particularly strong right now.
I have full confidence in them, though. I mean, it's Nintendo.
Yes.
They've gone through ups and downs, and I don't see this being. They'll get more games coming out. I'm pretty confident in that.
For sure. It is just interesting in that when you launch a new console, you have a bunch of games ready to carry that console.
Yeah.
And granted, this time they actually have backward compatibility, so that's a huge boon for the Switch 2. And being able to play your old Zelda games at higher frame rates and better resolutions, you're like, oh, like that in itself is almost worth it for some people because, you know, the earlier Zelda, I think they played at 720p or something like that, which is, you know, by modern gaming standards, just on the edge of unacceptable. So being able to play those titles at better graphics, better performance, all that stuff is a big thing, but also it's a big money investment. You're expecting some cool new exclusives to sell those, and they've just been off the mark a little bit. So hopefully Nintendo's not slipping too much here, and we'll just find out. Maybe they're also just waiting for post GTA 6. They're like, we'll announce Mario.
We can't even compete with them.
How crazy would that be if Nintendo decided to delay a Mario release because of GTA 6 or something? Like, it feels like Mario. Yeah, because I feel like Nintendo and GTA are like, have GTA games released on a Switch? I don't know, but
that I don't know.
I feel like those markets are pretty different markets nowadays, where you're like, if you're playing Mario, you're probably not playing GTA, or the crossover is much smaller, right? Between Mario and GTA gamers.
Because Nintendo does feel like it's more geared towards children, a younger audience, and they should, younger audience probably shouldn't be playing Grand Theft Auto.
They need to learn
Probably.
about wheeling and dealing on the streets, Matt. Okay?
There you go. Man, I saw some people out here saying like they want to have it be so realistic you got to jumpstart your car if if it's out of battery. I'm like, what? What do you want this to be? I don't even want to do that in real life. What do you think I want to do that in a game?
Sim theft auto. I want a game where you have to go to prison and then like just spend like 6 hours in solitary confinement. Like, because realism, bro. You need to have consequences for your actions.
Nonsense.
Yeah. This isn't Star Citizen. We don't go to prison. Okay. It's my favorite. Nothing kills a Star Citizen gameplay session faster than going to prison. You're just like, oh,
yep.
I'm in prison now. I guess we can't. Us. Guess we can't play together anymore.
Yep.
What is? I won't go. I'll leave it alone.
It's all right.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
It's all right.
I'm mad
about it.
Breathe
out. You got
I'm
it.
Mad. Squadron 42. It's gonna save us all, Matt. It's gonna save us all.
Totally gonna save it.
Watch. Squadron 42 is gonna have a prison gameplay loop.
For a single player game too. It's like, all right, well, it sucks, but you're gonna have to be here for a while.
Yeah.
Or log off and come back later. That would be wild behavior.
Too much. Well, cool. There's a lot of fun games. I'm gonna play Dust's Front, if I'm remembering the name correctly. I'm gonna try and get some games of that in today. It looks really fun and exciting. And
heck yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff. And Halo campaign evolved this month. Excited for that one too. UE5 at its peak in Halo. I'm just like, I can't tell you how excited I am by that.
I feel like they did that to like help train and get their developers used to Unreal Engine 5 so that when they work on their next Halo game, they're used to the engine.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
I think the UE5 engine is just outstripping the capabilities of most proprietary engines, and it just is making more sense for studios where they're going, okay, well, we can hire all these people that have UE5 experience, or we can hire all these people with UE5 experience and then make them work on an engine that they have no experience with. And obviously that can work, but you're just costing yourself a lot more time and money. And the whole idea behind making your own proprietary engine is like, well, now we don't have to pay our 2.5% or 3.5%, whatever it is, to Epic, and launch it on the Epic Game Store or whatever. And we don't have to deal with that. It's like, okay, you don't want to pay a fraction of your dev budget, but you're willing to spend a lot of money training people on an engine they've never used before and waiting for them to get good on your proprietary engine. An engine which is inherently going to have worse lighting, probably worse material systems, an animation system that you have to build from scratch, where Unreal Engine has all this stuff and they've been working on it for decades and making it better and better and better. And you're like, how can we compete? And I'm not saying everybody should do that, because I think we need competition in the marketplace.
Needs to be competition, yeah.
But, there's Godot. Right?
It's also understandable why it's happening.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. I mean, if you think about Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red switching over to Unreal Engine, you're like, okay, there's definitely some benefits there. And you're like, but their game looks so good. It's like, yeah, but you don't know what the cost of building that engine was and training those people up on it.
Right.
That could have been a third of their budget. What if they go,
yeah,
wouldn't it be great if we had a third more content instead of spending that on just like getting our engine working and all this other stuff, So
yep.
Not enough people understand the behind the scenes time investment and financial investment to work on a proprietary engine like that. So
it's a lot of effort.
Yeah. And what can I say? I'm a UE5 fanboy. I think it is a good engine. And
well, you are making a game on it, so
I am, but it also kind of opened my eyes to like a lot of that negative performance commentary that the engine was getting early on. And it's like, you're just looking at it, and I'm looking at it with dev eyes and going, okay, that stuff could have been avoided if you just did your research and stopped relying on beta systems that were not optimized.
Not ready.
Well. Yeah. They're like, no, let's just build a whole game around a system that is not performing well from day one. You're like, that seems like a bad plan. Just use the other system. Use the old system instead of the new lighting system that's in beta. They're like, nah, we're going to use the new beta lighting system. Oh, the game doesn't perform well. And then everybody's like, UE5 is the worst engine ever. It's like, they could have just used the normal lighting that was already in the engine instead of that. But whatever. Dev rant over.
Fine.
I think it's a good time to wrap up the old Potteroonie here.
Okay.
I want to thank everybody for dropping by the Level With Me podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We post it every day on Wednesday, talk about the weekly gaming news. And if you are enjoying the podcast, you can check out our Patreon link below. Watch us record the podcast live, usually on Mondays. And then join us for a little post-podcast chat session where we talk about whatever we want in life, racing, mountain biking. It's really about what I'm doing in life. And then, Matt talking about maybe overnight oats or something like that.
I do love my overnight oats.
Yeah, it's a good time though. You don't want to miss it. Definitely selling the the Patreon as usual.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. But regardless of whether or not you come by for the live show and hang out, Matt is going to leave you with some extremely useful advice.
Okay, this actually is extremely useful and it might save yourself. So if you are going to the gym and you're getting back into it, or it's your first time, and you come across a machine that you have never used before, my advice is to try it with no weight, because sometimes there is weight, you just don't realize it. I had the misfortune of going and trying a hack squat for the first time and not realizing that the sled was 110 pounds. And I was like, I'll put like 45s on each side. Like I'm strong. I saw the light flash before my eyes. Like my life I was like, when I got down that squat, I was like, bro, this is it. I can't push this back up.
Did somebody have to run over?
No, I was able to do it, but needless to say, that was a little bit of a surprise. So, if just no shame and just doing a couple of nice easy sets at the start, just to figure out what the weight's like, and then go from there.
Yeah, that is solid advice, man. There are some tools in the gym where if you don't know what you're doing. I do like those. Have you seen the montages of people not understanding gym equipment?
Oh yeah,
those are
people like literally swinging around. Like, what are you doing?
He's training to be Spider-Man. Obviously, this is the Spider-Man training machine.
Like they're using the weight of the thing to go up and down, like off the ground. You're like, what are you doing?
Those are my favorite. Where people are just watching them like. What? I mean, they're working out something, just not whatever that machine was intended to do.
Yeah.
But as funny as those clips are, be careful because you will injure yourself. Dude, I pinched a nerve in my, what's the thing up here? Is this trap that's by your neck? Whatever it is.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, it's been 5 days and I'm still waking up in pain. I'm like, it's just a nerve, man. It's a little pinched nerve. It's the worst.
Yeah. It sucks.
Yep. I ordered one of those giant ice shoulder pack strap things. Yeah. And I just, it sucks so much.
The thing I've realized is you put all this effort into just maintaining yourself to just feel normal. Because as you get older, any little thing is all right, I'm out for a week.
It's terrible, dude. It's so bad. And it's this one here, it hurts when I lay down. Just any time it hurts.
The place you want relief is when you lay down.
Yeah, you're like, I'll lay down, I'll take all the pressure off, and I'll just chill. And it's just sitting there throbbing. I'm like, cool. I'll just go to sleep now. Yeah.
That sucks.
Almost done with it, I think. But yeah, I'm feeling the age catch up with me, Matt. I'm not gonna let it get me though. Young forever. I just gotta wait for that crazy billionaire health guy to figure out the special formula and then tell everybody. You know that weird millionaire dude that's always on he's 50 something and he's he spends millions of dollars every year to try and de-age
not
himself.
Millionaire, billionaire.
He's a billionaire? Yeah.
Yeah.
Super weird character. His
You know what? Honestly, if he wants to do all this stuff on him and he's guinea pig and it can lead to maybe people living healthier lives, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely weird.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I actually appreciate what he's doing to a degree because, like, he really is. He's a human science project,
pretty much.
And
which isn't really how science works because you need usually have more, reference points.
Variables,
but at least it's something.
You need a control group and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not to say that his data is not useful. So I'll follow him, see what happens. If he lives an extra 20 years, maybe there's something into it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for dropping by, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Take care.